Because I have a lot of young people who watch me on TikTok, I thought I would do a special little post for you guys on some things that I wish someone would have told me, when I was younger, and it would have saved me a lot of headache and heartache. And so I wanted to kind of, do that. It's no one asked me for it, but I thought I would do it. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. I've been counseling women and men who have experienced abuse as well as those who have been perpetrators of abuse and other violent crimes. Um, okay, so number one, um, you know, it, as soon as you have access to counseling, take advantage of that. I don't care if you feel like you're emotionally stable and healthy and got it all figured out and things are good. I think that counseling, it's good practice to start as early as you can. I know a lot of high schools offer individual and group counseling. So if you can take advantage of it, I would recommend you do so. You might find that it just really helps you out a lot. You don't want to wait till you get to a place that's a dark place, a sunken place, a really bad place before you take advantage of trying to talk to someone. You want to kind of already have that structure and that support already there. Don't have sex in high school. In my experience, boys and men, they gossip way more than women do. I know that a lot of people think that women gossip and talk and share things a lot, but in all actuality, I found that, men talk a lot more. When you have sex in high school is a micro system, a micro culture. And so sometimes when we do these things, they sort of spread like wildfire, and you have people that are in your business. And lately, or in other circumstances, there have been pictures and things like that. That like nude pictures and things like that of young people they've thought that they was sending to someone that they liked in confidence, and where they've been bullied. And this actually works both ways for boys and girls where this phenomenon has occurred. I think they're definitely, clamping down on that a lot more legally. But I would wait until you're out of high school before you start being intimate. There's plenty of time to do that, and so that would be my recommendation. If you've got a family dynamic where your family is, your parents are mean, they're abusive, or they're neglectful, they don't really show up for you, or they reject you, they put you down every chance you get. Don't spend too much time trying to figure out why they are the way they are. Just accept it for what it is. As soon as you can accept it for what it is, the sooner you can kind of get that in your brain that, well, this is who my mom is, this is who my daddy is, this is who my brothers and sisters are, blah blah blah, and this is all they've ever shown me. You need to accept that, and then you need to get the hell on. I can't stress that enough. Don't be trying to stick around, for your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, and your 50s, trying to repair and figure out, everything that's going on with everybody and trying to get them right. Don't do that. Spend that energy, spend that effort on yourself. Um, don't be, don't be giving family money when you get your job. Um, you know, when you get your job, you need to focus on, having some freedom and some stability. Um, if your family was well adjusted and healthy, they wouldn't ask you for that anyway. When you're 15 and 16, that's small amount of money, right? Um, so focus on budgeting and saving your money. Don't lend people money. I don't care if it's friends. I don't care if it's family. Don't get in the practice of doing that. Don't get in the practice of bailing people out either when you have your money, right? Focus on keeping your money. I don't have it. I don't, you could say I don't have it. I don't I don't, what is it that I like to say? I don't usually mix relationships with money and finances and leave it at that. They can get mad with you. Oh, well, that's their problem, but once you start making your money, keep your money in your pocket, in your hands. You guys have already seen my video about I don't believe in shacking up and things like that as soon as you get your place. And so I'm going to leave that there. But along the lines of that, don't be allowing people to use your stuff. So like your credit or your car, things like that. Don't allow people to drive your car or use your credit. They're going to tear it up. If they don't have their own, they don't have it for a reason that doesn't involve you. If they want something to drive, they need some credit, they need to go and get their own. But don't get involved and don't hang out with people either that ask you for things like that. The minute people start asking you for big ticket items like that, to have access to or things like that, move around and kind of, don't do that. Yeah, don't do it unless you guys are like, you're paying for these big ticket items together, and then it's like a shared expense. That's one thing, but don't do that. Yeah, my advice, and I know this might be controversial. I'm certainly not telling people what to do, but I don't recommend getting pregnant young. I would recommend waiting until you're 30 and up. Probably 32 and up before you even consider doing that. While you're young, stack your money, get your place to live, travel, focus on experiences, getting your education and things like that. I don't recommend getting pregnant young. I don't recommend getting pregnant and keeping a child, especially when you're still in school. Like if you're still in junior high and high school, that's not something that I recommend doing. And if you are a parent, um, you know, if you become a parent early, then focus on, getting your support system outside of your family together. But, you know, I don't recommend having sex. I don't recommend having children when you're that young. Especially young girls. Young girls can get saddled with a baby for life, whereas a lot of men and they can literally just zip up their pants and go and be done with it. And that is simply the reality of the culture in America. And you could be left with a life that you don't want. You could be left, alone and angry, and life not looking the way that you want it. Typically, in my experience, you might have friends, up until maybe those early few months, because usually after 3 months, no one really cares when you're saddled with that baby, with young girls, anyway, because they don't know what to do when their friends have children and things like that. So I don't recommend doing that. Don't look for approval from other people, especially if you're doing like advanced plans, like for example, if you're looking to go to college and things like that. A lot of times, not all the time, you do have a lot of young people with support, but there are also a lot of young people that will get talked out of their plans by family and friends that don't see the same vision, or would never have enough courage to explore things on their own. So don't look for that external validation. Sometimes you have to take risk and do something outside of what your family would do. And you may be by yourself. And lastly, try to get as many mentors as you can, especially older women, or older people, older women or men, people that are going to look out for you, people that will help open doors for you, people who have seen it all, done it all, heard it all, and they could sort of advise you or guide you, but they're not going to be like forceful with like their judgment or decision making and things like that. They can say, well, this is what I've experienced, and here's what I would recommend instead. You can never have too many mentors, and get one in as many areas as you can: finances, life,